Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about AI skills. Now, skill is quite simple concept. It is a prompt which is not loaded by default by the LLM. It is loaded on demand. And I will show you a very simple skill. The skill is the entire folder, which contains inside compulsory a file called skill all uppercase.md. And the skill file has a YAML header containing a name and a description. And it has sometimes a small or sometimes quite a large prompt. And the LLM loads, the assistant sends to the LLM only the YAML part of the skill. So skills can get quite complicated, but they always contain the name and the description. And the initial prompt, then skills may refer to other resources which reside in the same folder, maybe to schemas, maybe to sample files, and maybe to other contexts which may be loaded by the LLM on an on-demand basis. So skills are lazily loaded, but let's try for no, let's start from the beginning. Why do you need skills? And in this video I will use again Oxygen XML. I have Oxygen XML editor 28.1 and the AI Positron add-on. And I will show you quite a complicated project, which is the Oxygen Users Guide. And such a project, now it needs some time to get accustomed to. So if I ask the LLM, for example, I will use a fast LLM, like I will ask it, create a new data XML topic about XML Author installation on Linux. The LLM starts with very few basic pieces of information about this project. It knows where the project is, but it doesn't know the structure of the project, so it starts looking around. And this looking around may get expensive in terms of time and of consumed tokens. So instead of having the LLM explore the project every time you ask it to do something, you may want to create a project context prompt. So I may ask the LLM to create a markdown file containing information about the current project structure. So why let the LLM explore the project every time you start an interaction? Because it has no previous memory. Why not create a markdown file explaining the project and then give the information in this markdown file every time the LLM attempts to do something. So in this case I'm using GPT 5.4 to explore the project, and it created a project context file, let's say. So it contains information about the project. It is the kind of file that you need to review yourselves, of course, and maybe to add extra information about the common set of rules for editing. So the most important stuff needs to go in this file. And once I have this file, I can refer to it in my AI Positron additional context files dialog. And once I refer to it in the AI Positron preferences, I can ask, for example, the GPT, like, tell me about the current project structure. And it should give me an overview of the project without actually going through the project because now it has the project structure prompt. But these prompts grow in size and they are always loaded by the GPT on each interaction. Sometimes I want to have an optional piece of prompt that needs to be loaded only on demand. And I will create for you a legal review skill. So I will ask the LLM something like I will get a more powerful LLM for this, like Opus 4.5, and I will ask it create a legal review skill for reviewing data XML topics in the folder, and I gave it the folder name. So I usually don't start the skill from zero just by just write it. I use the LLM to create the initial content of the skill, and then I take of course I take what the LLM gives me and go through it, make changes. Then when I have a skill that I consider to be quite well written, I take it and maybe I can share it with my colleagues. So how do I tell AI Positron where a skill resides? In the AI Positron preferences, you can refer to folders containing skills. So this is the skill created by the LLM, and if I were to work on it, I can go through it, I can make changes, and then I need to rename it to skill MD. This is very important. And then I need to refer to it in the skills folder. And so here I have Oxygen preferences, actions, agents, and skills folder. And in this folder, I need to add a reference to my skills folder, which contains all my skills. Maybe this folder contains also additional actions and so on. And let's see if the LLM now knows about my skill. So I will tell it to list all available skills. And I have the legal review skill now that I can use in my interactions. And I will apply it to a file called, accessibility. Let's find a small file. I think I want a larger one, right? So I want to find some kind of an example for you. Here we go. This is a topic about accessibility support, and it already had a comment. I will remove it for now in web author. So I will tell the LM perform a legal review on the current file, and the LM only has the name and the description of the skill, so it can load it up. And now it reads the file, and using the skill, it performs the legal review for that file. So the skill now has a name and the description, and the LM has loaded now the entire skill file and has created these extra comments inside it, comments that I need to review later on. So in this skills folder, you can have multiple skills, and as I said, they are loaded lazily by the LM. It only has the name and the description, and it loads more of the content as necessary, so that it doesn't fill its prompt, its context window with all available skills. Thanks for listening, and I hope you now have a better understanding about the usefulness of having skills. Have a great day.